The chair is pleased to recognize the gentleman from Tennessee, Steve Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Mukasey. I just want to follow up a little bit on what Mr. Wexler asked you. You represent the United States of America. I know that. But does that also include representing Congress in certain circumstances?
It includes representing all interests that I have to represent. I'm not familiar with a situation in which the Attorney General directly represented Congress. I'm not ruling it out.
Well, in a contempt situation, would you not be, in essence, representing the actions and instructions of the United States Congress if they voted to cite somebody for contempt?
In a contempt situation, if a contempt prosecution goes forward, the statute says that it must go forward. And so the Justice Department would be acting at the direction of Congress to the extent it made a contempt finding and directed that an action proceed.
So if Congress does vote to cite Mr. Bolton and Ms. Myers for contempt, you would prosecute them as the statute requires?
I think what I said was there is a great deal of authority that says that that prosecution cannot go forward in response to a direction from the President that they not comply with a subpoena.
But if Congress does cite them, then Congress has gone forward, and then you've got a different situation, sir, I would submit to you. You've got to make a Nicholas Katzenbach decision.
I'm not familiar with the decision of Nicholas Katzenbach that you're referring to.
You remember when he showed some kind of moral decision to not follow the orders of a president that were improper?
The decision about whether to permit a senior advisor to testify before Congress raises substantial issues of separation of powers, and in response to an order that not go forward, I cannot envision going forward.
So if Congress does vote to cite them for contempt, you would not comply with the duties of your office and prosecute that case based on some other opinion you have of Congress overreaching, in your opinion?
I will examine what happens when it happens, but I would certainly not hold any hope or expectation that I would act in contravention of longstanding authority which says that senior advisors to the President are not obligated cannot be prosecuted for contempt in response to a direction that they not appear, a direction from the President.
Is it that they shouldn't testify or they shouldn't appear?
Senior advisors?
Yes, sir. Should they not testify or should they not appear?
The latter, I believe.
They shouldn't appear and obviously then not testify?
I believe that's correct.
Would you think it'd be more appropriate to appear or have counsel appear?
My notion of propriety is something that I have said before and I will say again. I try to leave out of it.
But that's an action. If somebody does not even appear, that's a separate action from not testifying. One thing is asserting an immunity and saying, I cannot testify to that because I have an executive privilege. Another thing is the action of not even responding and coming to the congressional committee and or have somebody come on your behalf. That's a separate action. Do you think executive privilege goes so far as to say you don't have to appear and assert your privilege?
I understand the distinction. I believe that the authority with respect only to senior advisors to the President is that they not only need not testify, they need not appear.
Let me ask you this. Ms. Goodling said she went beyond, and she had immunity, and so you obviously did something. You said something about immunity implies culpability, right? And she got immunity when she testified here, and she said she went too far. What have you done to instruct your Justice Department not to go too far and not to be political in whom you hire and whom you use in the honors program in particular?
I have had conversations and public pronouncements, N being a very large number, in which I have made it quite clear.
Any memos? Nothing in writing?
As I sit here, I will provide you with any memos that embody that thought. There's plenty in writing that embodies that thought.
Let me ask you this. The drug war, we've had a drug war for many years, going back to Nixon. It's a long time we've had drug wars. We still have it. Obviously, we haven't, you'd agree we haven't necessarily won it. It's still going on, right?
I believe we continue to prosecute drug cases.
What do you think we should do differently to win the drug war and the scourge of meth, the scourge of crack and cocaine and drugs like that? What can we do to win that war, or should we continue to do what we've been doing over the years? What changes can you recommend?
We are changing our strategies in response to the strategies of the people who are trying to sell this stuff. We are cooperating with foreign governments to a degree unprecedented in our history, most particularly with the government of Mexico, which has extradited people in record numbers and is experiencing enormous violence as it constricts the areas in which drug cartels can function. And they've undertaken literally a life or death struggle in which they're helping us and we're trying to help them.
I was looking more at...
Gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Mukasey.